Well, that's at first. What's happening? It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope everything is well in your world. The internet is acting a little strange, but then again, it's right. What's happening, Rich? Good to see you. What's up, Joe Frank? Yes, Gertie. Happy Halloween, everybody. Ray Hogan, RS70. What's up? Big Tony Palmisano, my man. All right. Hey, Victoria, Lori Dawn. Yes. Stoked for this one. Yes. It's Halloween. What are you doing on Halloween? What's anybody doing anything interesting on Halloween? Yo. Anybody got I got my middle-aged American hardcore skinhead costume from Spirit, and I'm ready to party. Yeah, I've been seeing those things on the internet. They're pretty funny. Those Spirit things, you know. Yeah, that's why I wore the Zappa shirt today, in the spirit of Halloween. Zappa used to play those incredible Halloween. He used to do a Halloween run here in New York. Oh yeah, Fear is tonight, right? Yeah, I don't know if I could handle that. I went to Chiller yesterday. Did the whole Chiller thing yesterday, so I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me, you know, to stand around. Yep. Yeah, there you go. Healing from COVID. So I'm ready for Cindy Device. Good. That's the spirit. Yeah. You'll be all right. Pissed I'm missing Fear. Don't worry about it. There'll be other ones. You know? That said, what's up?
What's up?
What's
Happy
up?
Halloween.
What are you doing for Halloween?
I haven't even decided yet. Just going to prowl the streets.
Oh, no, you're meeting me tomorrow.
Well, that's right. Tomorrow. That's right. And it's actually Halloween. Got to charge up the camera. That's right.
Yeah, you're going to meet me down at the parade tomorrow.
Yeah. Every day's a Halloween parade in this group.
Every day's Halloween in my world, bro.
Actually, it's not a Ministry song. Every day's Halloween. I think it is.
Halloween should be like 3 times a year, you know? I think it should be because it's cool. People wear costumes and like, you know, like it should be like semi-annually. It should be at least twice a year, you know?
Yeah, I like it. It's one of my favorite holidays for sure. I mean,
Zappa Halloween was a Halloween ritual. Listen, we were talking about this in the pre-show with one of our guests, and here is one of my stubs during the Halloween run from November 1981 at the Palladium here in New York.
Wow.
Ticket was $11. I didn't see him Halloween night. I saw him the next day, and this is when they had an early show and a late show. You know, Zappa used to do an early show and a late show, and I went to the early show on Halloween. You know, no, on the day. Excuse me, and like we were kind of bummed because he wasn't feeling good. And he like sat on a stool and played very little guitar, and we were like, you know, we wanted to hear like Dynamo Hum and Muffin Man, you know, and it was only till later now that I sort of have a grasp on the Zappa catalog that I realized that dude when he played a lot of new stuff because he's recording it for his new album or whatever. So yeah, as a teenager, we go see Zappa, we're like, yeah, you know, he didn't play this, and this. But now what he'd do is he would record out on the road and then bring the tracks into the studio and do stuff with them, you know.
And what album was 81 around?
Tinseltown Rebellion.
Nice.
Joe's Garage. It was
Joe's Garage.
Yeah. Yep.
41 years ago.
That might be a question. Question for, does anyone remember an Iggy Pop show with Murphy's Law at the Beacon? I think it was Halloween 88 or 89. We'll have to ask our guest that if he was around for that. Oh yeah, rest in peace, D.H. Peligro, and rest in peace, Jerry Lee Lewis. Yep. Yeah, I like things. I like all Zappa. Anyway, let's get on. Let's get it on. Let's do a photo of the day. Here we go. Let's get right to it. This is the world-renowned photo of the day. Boom. The internet's acting weird, man. So there it is. There you go. Anybody? Is it Thing Fish box set is the best?
Yo, Rich Zoller, what's up?
What's up? Yeah, you know what? Let's not play any games here. So you're a philosopher. I saw this guy play a couple years ago, like outside the projects in Brooklyn, and it was great. Is it The Teacher? Is it Thingfish? Good one, Don. Is it KRS 666? Is it KRS One? Is it Spock's cock? Just seen him, KRS One. All right, what is this? Let's get moving.
Let's cut to the chase right here. That is KRS One actually, and this was just last week. In fact, Terminal 5, and it was kind of an interesting bill. It was Ill Bill, Sick of It All, KRS One, and Cypress Hill, and in fact, Rich Zoller and Gina were right there in the photo pit with me. Tim Daly was right behind us. The whole crew was there, and great show. I do have to say I did not get to see Cypress Hill because their security was a little bit sketchy when it came to the photographers. So
they wouldn't let you shoot them?
Well, as soon as we walked out of the photo pit for KRS One, who was third in the lineup, they were like, "You got to check your camera." And I got to, all three of us have thousands of dollars of gear in our bags. Not going to put it in a coat check.
Right.
And the guy followed me through the crowd with a flashlight to the point where I went to the men's room and he waited for me outside the men's room. And I just said, you know what? I'm out. And I left. And I didn't get to see Cypress, which is a shame, but I was really there for Sick of It All and KRS One. And they both were awesome. So, those guys, they never disappoint. And Ill Bill, too.
Yeah. Now, KRS One and Sick of It All, they played together back in the day.
Yeah. In fact, I saw KRS One in 1989 in Boston. It's the first time I saw him. Boogie Down Productions. And that was on Earth Day. But in fact, it was a crazy bill. Paul McCartney was the headliner. And it was like KRS One, 10,000 Maniacs. It was like this weird bill. But, they were great. I mean, back then, that was probably right around that.
At the Marquee. At least I bet I have that somewhere. Hold on. I bet I have that. Yeah, here it is. Boom. KRS One Marquee. Yeah. This is what I do in my spare time when I'm sitting on a plane. I just label all this stuff so it's at my
Well, you got to do it. You got to tag everything.
There it is. Boom. Burn, rest in pieces. Sick of It All. Boogie Down Productions with KRS One. There it is.
Rest in pieces. Nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that Amnesty? That's an Amnesty show? Look at that.
Amnesty at the Marquee, yeah.
That's cool.
A few fights that night. Yeah. Yep. You didn't see Cypress Hill at all, huh?
No, not at all. It's kind of a shame.
What does a band like Cypress Hill really give a fazzuck if somebody's taking pictures of them?
But you know what? I mean, I wanted to see them, but I just did not feel comfortable checking my camera bag in a coat check,
Yeah, they could kiss my black ass. I'm not checking my camera. Seriously.
I mean, not for nothing. That thing disappears. Good luck getting any sort of reimbursement.
Yo, you know who I saw the other night due to the gracious gift of one of my patrons? I went and saw Sabotage.
Yes.
Sabotage.
Oh, nice.
Woo!
Drew getting his
Man.
medal on.
Yeah, man. It was a trip,
How were they?
man. It was, dude, I didn't know anything about this band, and we went, look at their stage. It was like a World War I, like foxholes and sandbags and barbed wire, and like the drummer like it was like a tank with like multiple turrets, you know. It was
I love
wild,
it.
man. And yo, and it's sold out to Hammerstein Ballroom, bro.
Metal is
It's like,
forever,
what?
Man.
Dude, it was like,
especially that traditional metal is forever.
It was like something out of Dungeons and Dragons, bro.
That's awesome.
Yes, thank you, Pepe Bayonne. Thank you. Thank you. Not only did he hook me up with the Sabbath, but he hooked me up with the Motley Crue. With the Motley Crue.
Oh, nice.
I guess I'm his go-to. I'm his go-to guy when he doesn't, you know. And this is the band that opened up, Epica.
Oh, how did she sound? She's got a great voice.
Like, you know,
very operatic.
Yeah, it was like a whole nother world, dude. And it was packed. It was like a European festival crowd, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, these bands play giant places overseas, you know?
Giant.
Actually, this has been a crazy week because following the Maiden shows, then we had the Sick of It All show. Then we just had the Leeway, Kings Never Die, Silence Equals Death show. Yesterday we had Murphy's Law and United Blood. We had Hatebreed the other night. It's been a crazy week for shows.
Everybody's trying to get it done, man. You know?
Yeah, it's great. Just having too many shows to see, you know.
Yep. Well, thank you. Hey, Drew, you do stuff for others all the time, so I'm glad to do something for you. Well, thank you, man. I wanted to go. I really wanted to go. It's like a band I've never heard of, a whole nother genre. Like, you know, I'm fucking shot on some of this shit, man, you know? So, all right.
See what happened?
Hey, listen.
You did good things and good things came to you. That's what happened.
Hail Satan. Speaking of Satan.
Oh, no.
He might come. Rumor has it he might come on the show today.
The devil, you say?
Yo, Swallower of Souls. Just might be a. What's up with the Biohazard reunion? Why no official statement? Well, I'm not really at liberty to comment on that, but let's just say, in my professional opinion, there will be a statement at some point. All right?
I'm excited.
I'm not stepping in that pile of duty. All right, bro. I'll talk to you in a bit.
Right. In a little bit.
Peace in the Middle East. You are now watching the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics. Boy, things are moving slow with the internet. New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, and Grunge and Grime Soap Company. That said, let's bring our guests on. Let's get down on this Halloween show. Hey, Scott Earth, what's up? I saw you on the internet carrying on, bro. Better calm down, Scott Earth. You know? All right, here we go. Our first guest is an American musician hailing from the Empire of New York City. He is known for his work with the bands Harmless Matter, Primal Urge, Scarecrow, Chop Shop, Circus of Power, the Black Scorpio Underground, and Dresden. Here today to celebrate the Brain Eaters re-release on Cleopatra Records, coming at us from Sacramento, California. Please welcome Mr. Joe Truck Kasher. Dude.
What's up?
How's Sacramento?
I'm like 30 miles north of it, so it's probably good, but up where we are, it's nice and chilly today, and I love it.
Isn't
Summers
that
up here are hell.
you're in the direction of towards Humboldt County, right?
Yeah, just up north of Sac. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's nice because the summers up here are hell on earth, literally hell on earth.
Really?
Yeah, like 108 is kind of like normal, and then we had 114 this year. This year it was bad.
Fuck that, man.
I know. That's what I say. Hide inside the whole time or at work.
Hey, let's bring on our other guest. Our next guest is an American musician hailing from Rutherford in the Garden State of New Jersey. He's known for his work with Humpty Keg, Genocide, The Whorelords, Morning Noise, Samhain, Iggy Pop, Ditch Witch, Let's Patrol, Man Size Habit. Also here, incredibly, to celebrate the Brain Eaters re-release on Cleopatra Records, coming at us from New Jersey, please welcome Mr. Pete Damien Marshall. Hey, man.
Hey.
How are you, buddy?
I'll live.
Oh, another Halloween. Hey, let's jump into it. Before we talk about this, which is really great, really well done on Cleopatra. Let's paint the background a little bit. We'll start with you, Joe. How did you come up? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
Yeah, my mom's a jazz singer from Detroit. She just passed away last week. And she was on Lori Records, which was Dion's label, Dion and the Belmonts. She moved, and she's always been a singer. Jazz was always in our house. Jazz player is always in our house. And then through that, I just kind of fell into rock and roll at 7 or 8 years old. I think I told the story about how my camp counselor when I was 7 was playing Tommy by The Who, and that I just through them just classic rock. Always been into music. It's always been something I've been into and always been something I've done. And then so I just continued to do it. Started playing clubs in 78, Maxes and CBs and all that stuff. Did the punk thing and kept going with it and still playing to this day.
Pete, how about you? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did music come into your life?
Yeah, my dad was a singer, and he was like a big band singer, not professionally. And my mother played flute, piano, and I think else. And then when she got to be in her 30s, she wanted to learn guitar. And I was not allowed to touch the damn thing. And they said, well, you play trombone. Like, I do that. I hate this. And eventually, my dad had a huge record collection too, and knew everything about big bands and jazz before that. I still have some of his records upstairs too, and he was very into music, like newer classical. And I remember one time we were driving across the Union Avenue Bridge on the Passaic River, going back to Rutherford, and we were listening to a classical station. They played, I think it was Smetana, My Fatherland, and then we just went to Sam Goody in Paramus and bought it. Didn't even go home.
That's what it was like back then. You'd hear something on the radio and you'd go straight to, Sam Goody or Corvettes, or, Sears or something like that. And I mean, and we're all basically, the three of us are pretty much the same age. And I've said this many times on the show is, radio was so vibrant back then too. You'd hear something you'd hear something, you go from the fucking store to the car to the, it was just, this music would just follow you around,
7 inches were 35 cents. And so you'd hear it on the radio. Then I'd go to Disco Mat on 8th Street, which was a place that's been long gone. But I grew up on 8th Street and 5th Avenue in the Village. And Disco Mat had all the 7-inches, and you'd get it. It would already be in the store by the time it was on the radio with the big hole.
Yeah, and you had to get the adapter.
The adapter.
What do you remember? What was the first record that you yourself like chose and bought? Do you remember that show?
Yeah, Tommy the Who.
Tommy the Who.
Yeah, the first pressing. You know, I was really little, probably 8 years old.
And Pete, how about you?
Like I said before, it was that heavy metal cheap compilation on which actually had the Grateful Dead on it too.
They're so
here
metal.
it is. I have it. Wait, I have it here. I have it.
It's a really bad cover.
Yeah, it's teeny. Hold on, I'm trying to find a bigger one of it.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll put it up even though it's small. Hold on.
Yeah.
Allman Brothers Band, Black Sabbath, Buffalo Springfield, Alice Cooper. Is this it? Hold on, let me see.
Heavy metal.
Hold on. I
Buffalo.
think this might be it. Does this look familiar?
That's it.
Right on.
Allman Brothers Band, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper, Deep Purple, Jay Giles Band, Grateful Dead, Jimi Hendrix. Grateful Dead on the heavy metal record, huh? Wow.
Doing good.
Eagles. Who would have thunk it? The Eagles on the heavy metal record. Oh man.
They put anything out.
Uriah Heep. Uriah Heep. Ooh.
They're awesome.
Good one.
Awesome. Yeah.
Dr. John. Dr. John made the heavy metal record.
Not metal. Not metal.
All right. Delaney and Bonnie. Very not metal.
Not metal. Very not metal.
Who is really metal on this? Let's see. Black Sabbath. Alice Cooper gets a pass. Deep Purple. Foghat?
Sure. Classic rock.
Sure. Why not?
Sure.
Golden Earring, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, MC5. Is that right? Am I seeing that right? MC5.
I think so.
Wow. They slipped in under the wire. Uriah Heep. Wow. The first record that I remember getting was an Elvis Presley record. I got like the one where he's like in that gold suit, like 100 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. I think the first records I ever bought Presley records. That's where I went, you know. Elvis. So picking up a guitar, Pete, who influenced you early on? Who really resonated for you?
I remember about the time I was in second grade in August. I guess I was 8 or 9, and PBS showed "Gimme Shelter," and I saw Keith Richards at Clear Dan Armstrong and said, "I got to do that." And then around when punk first broke, 76, 77 here, I saw a clip of the Pistols on the news. Before this, I was a Kiss fan, so Ace Frehley too. But
it all comes back to Kiss on this show, you know.
It always comes back. We're all Kiss fans. We're all Kiss is it. We all start with Kiss.
Yeah.
But I saw a clip of Steve Jones and that white Les Paul, and I was like,
yeah,
I can. And to this day, that's pretty much what I sound like.
I wonder where that white Les Paul is these days.
Which one?
Yeah.
Because sell it as the one.
Yeah. Got it.
He
and
Joe told me.
Say that again?
I said Steve told me that too, that he'd just get another one and sell it as the guitar.
As the one.
This is the one. This is the one that I fucking played on fucking Nevermind the Bollocks.
Yeah.
And this is the other one. This is the next one.
He probably sold 10 of them.
That used to
Makes
happen with Thunder's double cut. There was always another Thunder's double cut, and it was like, oh, this is Johnny's double cut, and it never was. Once they said they found the actual one.
Hold
In
on,
like
I'm
some
looking.
pawn shop in LA.
I have that somewhere. I have a shot of Johnny Thunder's guitar somewhere. Let me find that.
Yeah, that double cut junior, they said they actually found Johnny's a long time ago in a pawn shop in LA, and somebody had the actual one, and it was stolen. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think when he died, like the guitars were stolen, right?
All of them were stolen. Yeah.
Died in, if I remember correctly, he died in New Orleans.
Yep.
St. Peter's Hotel.
Yep. How come we all know
Yo,
that?
nothing good happens. Nothing good happens down in that part of New Orleans. You know,
Right?
Nothing. I've been down there. Nothing good happens down there.
People don't know how dangerous.
How about
New
you,
Orleans
Joe?
is. I live down there. It's dangerous as hell.
Don't even get me started, man. I got into some shit in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Joe, how about you? Did you pick up an instrument or what?
Yeah.
What early on, and what was the impetus for that?
74,
Who
75. I saw Gene Simmons Kiss, and I wanted to be a bass player because of it. Gene Simmons was just like too cool. I was like, that's it for me. I want to be a bass player. So I picked up a bass, and I was a bass player for a long time. I still play bass, but I'm like, that was my instrument. I only started singing in chop shop, which was 84. Before that, I was always playing bass.
And the first group was Scarecrow.
The first group was Harmless Matter, which was the one that played Max's a bunch.
Right.
We were like a weird no wave band, but we didn't know we were. We were like post punky, no wave, weird. We played with like Von Elmo and all these weird bands, Science, and all these strange Max's bands. There was always these bills. There were the rock and roll bills, and then there were like the art rock bills, and we were always.
I remember Von Elmo.
Yeah, he was a kook. He's still a kook. He's still around. He's still a kook.
Congress.
What's that?
What about Congress with a K?
Congress with a K. Congress with a K. Yep. And Sick Dick and the Volkswagens.
Yep.
And Lydia Lunch, Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, all that stuff. But she was probably doing 13, 14 by that time.
I just saw Lydia Lunch like a week ago.
She's great.
At a thing. Yeah.
She's awesome.
Still at it. She's still at it.
She's still doing it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Pete, and your first couple of bands, Pete, how'd that go?
I originally, okay. Every kid in Rutherford besides me hated punk rock, to where I would get beat up by guys from the football team for carrying a certain record. So I wasn't really in any bands until probably my senior year, where a couple other guys that were into Iron Maiden, really, we formed a 5-piece and named it after the art teacher, Steve Muno, which he wasn't very happy about.
Kind of like a Leonard Skinner thing, right? Like we're gonna name it after our gym coach, Leonard Skinner, right?
Or the Deans of Discipline.
Yeah. So we did that. We borrowed like every amplifier we could to play in the gym at this ridiculous battle of the bands. And I had wanted an Iron Cross to wear while I was the singer. So my dad made me one about this big, cut it out of a sign in his shop. And you could have killed yourself with that. I'm still looking for it in the house somewhere.
Wow.
Somebody will want to buy that.
Me.
Yeah. But we were obnoxiously loud, fairly aggressive for that time, for being a bunch of like juniors and seniors in high school. And after I graduated, that just barely. We started. I also in the summers we lived in this up in Vernon. We had a summer house in Highland Lakes, and I had a couple of friends there that we formed Humpty Keg, which was named after a crocheted beer can cover. And that in that area, that was cause for major stress of parents.
I always loved that name, Humpty Keg. It sounds like it could be a rapper. He could be like an early 80s rapper. Yo, it's Humpty Keg. What's up?
And after that, we did that, and the Vernon cops almost arrested us. And then,
boy, Vernon, New Jersey was sure a hotbed of activity back then, wasn't it?
no, this was pre-Chi Alpha's moving there.
Oh, okay.
81, 82. I think they 84.
I remember. Yeah, I remember their dad. I remember the place their dad had up there. You know?
Yeah, on Maple Grange Road.
Yeah, with the track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
That was kind of out there. So after that, then I went to Bergen Community College, 13th grade, and in my psychology class was Bobby Snots, who was
the infamous Bobby Snots.
Yes.
And I remember him well.
Yeah. And this ties into some shit later we got to talk about.
Yeah. I can almost put the pieces together. So go on.
So anyway, I was like, I know that guy. And we had in high school, there was this book. It had a red cover, and it was a paperback, but it was like 10 by 13 or whatever. And it was all photographs of like Max's, CB's, and all the people that were there. And one of the pictures was Bobby with his sleeve rolled up and showing the Missy tattoo, which said Missy underneath, and it had a skull wearing an army helmet, smoking a joint.
Best.
So I was like, I went and then the next day I saw him. He had a leather jacket on and with Warlord stenciled on it. Right. And I was like, okay. So I went over and introduced myself. And he was like, oh, yeah, we're playing Blue Moon Studios on Saturday. You want to come? Like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. So me and a friend went. He got mad at the current guitar player they had. They were terrible. But it was a bunch of Upper Bergen County kids. And after the show, when he kicked the guy in the nuts during the show, he came over. He's like, "You're the guitar player now." And I said, "You've never heard me play. Doesn't matter." Okay. Be a rehearsal Wednesday. Ultrasound.
Wow.
Ultrasound.
It was what?
It was Room C at Rocket when they were on 37th or 38th Street.
Rocket, Joe Sandra, Prince.
And Rocket had Black Label lager in the soda machine.
Good reason to rehearse there.
Yeah, and Ultraviolence rehearsed before us. And then we played, and it was like that for like whatever my 18 months that I did that.
I remember seeing the Warlords at the A7 back in the day.
Yeah. That was probably me.
Yeah. Did you play the Max's? Did you play the Max's show, Pete?
No, that was Tarek.
No, that was Tarek. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I remember Bobby was an infamous character. Died young, right?
Yeah. Allegedly, stabbed to death outside a Continental. That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But he was usually incarcerated more than he was out.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a troubled character. God rest his soul.
And his mother
He was the first singer in Brain Eaters. He was the first singer in Brain Eaters. Yeah. So I'll tell you that story. So that's why I wanted to tie it in.
Let me try to get the chronological. So after Warlords, was it Morning Noise, Pete?
Yeah, because both Steve Greco went to Bergen Community too, and we were in the same TV production class.
Steve Zing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Got it. So now you're in Morning Noise with Steve with Steve Zing, and Joe sort of set the table with how Morning Noise initially got together. I mean, excuse me, Brain Eaters. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, I just had finished playing with Chop Shop. I got kicked out of my own band, and the band broke up because I did some shady shit to the guitar player, and rightfully so. I should have been kicked out, but that band was doing really, really well. We had just played the 930 Club, opened for Nick Cave. It was doing really well, but it imploded like so many bands do. And I was a big Misfits fan, mainly from the records. The shows were always terrible. But the records were always just so good. The songs were always so good. I loved collecting the records, the way they were put together, the visuals. I just loved. So I was a big Misfits fan. I wanted to do a Misfits type band, straight up a Misfits. People have called it Misfits worship. Sure, I'll accept that. I was a huge fan of the whole like aesthetic of the Misfits. So there was no horror punk going on at all. Us and Morning Noise, that was it. Basically, maybe Rosemary's Babies, but really it was like nobody was doing it. And I probably wouldn't have wanted to do it if there was a lot of bands doing it. Nobody was, except for Morning Noise for the most part. And so I started with an ad in the Voice, an ad in the Village Voice. Everybody did ads in the Village Voice. And lo and behold, Bobby Snots answers the ad. And he comes to rehearsal, and I'd already formed the band. I had people ready to go. I couldn't get any real musicians to do it fast enough, so I just started teaching people how to play. My girlfriend, she was 16. I taught her how to play bass. Had this kid, Chris Geyser, who's still a great friend of me and Pete's, Chris X, we called him. I brought him in. He couldn't play anything. I taught him how to play guitar, and just rudimentary punk shit, straight up rhythm chords. And then we needed a singer because I was going to play guitar. I was going to be me and Chris playing guitar, Sarah bass, and a singer. So Bobby came to Ultrasound, and
you know what just flashed in my head? Jeff from Ultrasound.
Oh, totally, with his puffy hair, his puffy top of his head, and his mullet.
Jeff, the dude that ran Ultrasound, just popped into my head. Yeah,
Jeff, great.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No.
No. He's still Jeff West. He's still alive, right?
Ohio.
Yeah, right on. Good.
You know something? Ultrasound. He hung in there with Ultrasound until that building. Until he was like the last one out of that building. Like really,
was it 31st Street? 31st.
30th.
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 Yeah.
Right
Pete's got it. It was 30th. It was 30th. Right. But he was like the last one out of that building.
Great guy. Really fair, nice guy. Would always give us help us out. Yep. So anyway, so Bobby comes. So we do a couple rehearsals, and it's good. But Bobby was a dope fiend, like nobody's business. And he just started kind of imploding and asking me for money. And about the third rehearsal that he asked me to borrow money and he dipped out in the middle of the rehearsal, I was like, I can't do this shit. So I just said, look, I'm going to sing. Bobby never came back anyway. I just switched over to vocals. So then it was me on vocals and guitar, Chris and Sarah and Rob Taz, who became Abel Ferrara's sound man for all his movies, funnily enough.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, he became his main sound guy, King of New York, all those. It's all Rob, the drummer. And then we started playing, and then That was like late 85, and Pete was still doing Samhain, I believe, right, Pete? You were still in Samhain. And then it went on from there, and then the rest is that
Now
next
this
story.
is an early flyer. This is 86.
Yeah, that's early. That's that. I don't remember what show that was. That might have been right before Pete joined.
And here's 87. Now you guys are doing, of course, the Glory Tour of New York City. Here you are at the Lismar.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And then
The Lismar,
Lismar is great.
the Lismar is a place that's kind of been lost in the shifting sands of time.
Oh, such a great place.
We have a shot of it. Hold on. Here, the infamous Lismar Lounge, where I saw some great bands in the Lismar.
Everybody
Lounge.
there.
Yeah.
Almost every band from there got signed to a major. There it is.
You know who played some great shows in Lismar Lounge? Seeing the Cycle Sluts. I remember seeing Circus of Power. You know.
Yep. Raging Slab, Law and Order, Princess
Raging
Pang,
Slab.
Nevermore. Remember Nevermore,
right.
The thrash band?
Yes,
everybody played there.
Lomito.
Yeah,
Rick Rubin signed them.
Lech Patrol.
Hey, by the way, this just in. Jeff got married recently and moved back to Cleveland. He's doing great. I worked with him at Ultrasound. So says Mark Renser. So that's the Jeff update. He's back in Cleveland, and he just got married. He left. Here, hold on. There you go, Pete.
Cool.
I put it back up for you. Jeff got married recently and moved back to Cleveland. He's doing great. I work with him at Ultrasound.
That's
awesome.
Mark, who was the other guitar player in Lech Patrol.
Right on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Mark. You know, Raging Slab gets some love.
Slab. I love Slab.
Yo, Raging Slab was great. That
peace.
girl Elise played slide.
She
awesome.
passed away. Yeah, she passed away a couple years ago. Great girl. And Greg Stremka, great guy.
Yeah. And in keeping with the Brain Eaters tour of New York City, here's the Pyramid.
Yep. That was with Sean from Damage on lead guitar. You remember Damage, the CB's band? That was Sean. Sean played that show.
Yeah.
That was after Pete.
Bass players, didn't they?
Who?
They had two bass players.
He played guitar in Damage. I think they had two bass players and guitar, didn't they? Or maybe Sean was one of the bass. Yeah. Sean was the guitar player.
Yeah, because Morning Noise did a Rock Hotel show. Christ, I forget who we opened for, but their Damage was in between.
Yeah. They were good.
Yeah.
Kevin Haggerty wants to know when's the Genocide reunion.
Bobby can't make it.
Yeah.
Ebbs can't make it.
Ebbs is in permanent.
I remember we played with Genocide. That was a sight to behold.
We played with you. It was Genocide, Brain Eaters, and Antidote down at that fucking place. Yeah.
What place was that?
I don't remember. Down like near Tribeca. You remembered the name of the place. And you're the one who remembered it. I can't remember. It was like it wasn't he.
Zone DK? Zone DK?
I don't remember. But it was Genocide, us, and you guys.
Jesus.
I know.
Yeah. Here, Mark says, Denny and Sean played guitar. Mike, maybe I'm forgetting someone.
Right.
All right.
Mark's right. Sean was the guitar player, and he was in Brain Eaters for 6 months.
So before we sort of segue with Pete getting into Brain Eaters, Pete, you ended up in Samhain. How did that come about?
I was in Morning Noise.
Makes sense.
And they played their first show with Lyle Presler on guitar.
I was there at the Rock Hotel.
At the Rock Hotel, yeah, we were all there.
Yep.
I think it's the first issue of Hard Times when it was a magazine. You can see me right in front of Lyle in the audience. And either he or Glenn used my amp. And Lyle, I guess, he either was sold a bill of goods on what was going to happen, or he just sort of willfully ignored history. And
Right.
he's wearing, and Brian Baker was a douche to me that night too.
Go figure.
Yeah, he can be.
I like him now, but then he was
He's way
arrogant.
cooler than
So Lyle comes out and he's in like a Georgetown sweatshirt and white sneakers.
that. Ugh.
He else looked like everybody else. So they made it through that show. Glenn was sick, and they never talked to Lyle again, I think.
That's sort of in line with the sort of the way that Glenn does business. Never talk to him again, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then, I guess as usual, like Glenn didn't want to audition people, so he's like, "What are we gonna do?" And Steve says, Pete'll do it. Oh, okay. So, I had to work on the whole image and everything else.
I think is this that show?
Yes. That's the first.
With Hellbent.
Yeah.
Hellbent,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yep. Matt Zombie, another one we thought was dead. Another one there was a rumor he was dead, but he's not.
Matt
He's
Zombie's
totally alive.
not dead.
Matt's not dead. He's alive. John Wiley's alive. They're all alive.
John Wiley's a good dude and a great supporter
He's a
of the
great
show.
dude.
We love that guy. And
We love
Why
that guy.
Die, but I think recently they played one of our Bowery Electric shows. So Why Die from Philly still at it.
Yeah.
Nice. Hellbent would have actually been the only other band doing any kind of a vibe like that besides Brain Eaters and Morning Noise. I would have considered them sort of on the verge of horror punk in a weird way.
Yeah, but they were more like.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't they weren't crazy doing the image thing.
No.
So I'm sorry, Pete. How did the call for Samhain come in again?
Glenn didn't want to audition people, so he just sort of rhetorically asks Steve and Erie, like, well, what are we going to do? And I don't know whether the guitar player from Erie's band, Craig, was even, maybe he didn't want to do it, or I don't know what happened, but I said, yeah, I'll do it. And so we did one last Morning Noise show, and then heavily woodshedded over summer, and came back and went on like a Midwest tour for a week or so. And I had no money, so we're making your own stage clothes. Glenn hated my guitar, which was a SG Firebrand, which was perfectly serviceable.
Is that what you're playing? Is that what you're playing right here?
That's my first Iceman.
That's the Iceman.
Okay.
And that Mabuhay Gardens in San Francisco.
Nice.
And Kirk and James were there from Metallica that night, and Kirk actually changed one of my strings.
Wow. That's
awesome. I love this era of music when people would come and just sit on the stage.
Yeah.
They would just fucking sit. Like la 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 and sit on the fucking stage.
It's almost hippie-ish.
It's like, what the
fuck
is
It's almost like
this?
Flower Children-ish.
Hey, shouting
Sitting
out
on
Nick
stage.
Martin. Yo, got to shout out Nick Martin from the Stimulators. What's up, Nick?
Nick.
How you doing, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah. So Gary asks, was that the first guitar signed by Metallica? He asks.
Was that the what?
Was that the first guitar signed by Metallica?
Maybe.
Yeah.
That wasn't that one. I had three of those Icemen.
Wow.
The first one I got in San Diego. That was like a brown sunburst. And that was a really good one. And I decided, like, I don't like this. When I was working in a truck repair place where we did a lot of painting. So I sanded it down.
Wait, hold on. Is that this? No. Is that this?
No, that's the
Gene Simmons. That's the Gene.
Yeah,
right.
The axe. That's the axe.
Belonged to Craig and Erie.
Right.
And it was in like a mid-60s Fender case that Erie had painted Gigantor on it. So, arts and crafts.
This is a great shot right here. This is a really nice shot. I like this one.
Yeah, that's the first one, and that's Danceteria. I think there was a benefit for NYU.
Samhain played Danceteria?
Yeah. Greg Fasolino took that picture.
Yep. That was the first show that I was such a loser. My younger sister, who was at Pratt at that point, had to loan me the money to go buy a Marshall.
Oof.
That's okay.
But struggling.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, right?
Yeah. She was a Bloomingdale's fur model at that point.
Awesome.
Now, I know at a certain point in Samhain, things went south, but any cherished memories or working with any of the people in the band or anything looking back?
Yeah, there was a couple, when we'd play Austin, we'd stay at Tim Kerr's house from the Big Boys. And, Glenn, I wonder if Glenn's bipolar. Because, I mean, he could be the nicest guy in the world. And then he would just turn into this raging asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But at one time we were staying at Tim's, and I guess it was like Sunday afternoon dinner. So we went to the supermarket, and Glenn got a turkey and enough stuff for a big Caesar salad. And that's what we had. And he made the salad. It was great.
A fond memory was when we had a Caesar. That's a good one.
Glenn made the salad is the best line ever. Glenn made the salad.
Too.
Yeah. Who knew Glenn could make salads?
Hey, the simple things in life.
He used to yell at his dad for feeding us.
Yeah.
Keep him hungry.
Yeah.
Keep him hungry. Don't give him. Don't.
Yeah, it was like, you got garlic bread? Yeah.
Keep them hungry. If you feed them too much, they're not gonna be hungry.
They won't leave.
Like the hungry end. Yeah. It's gonna be the hungry end.
Yeah. Now, Pete, you play on this, correct?
Yep.
And and your tracks theoretically have survived on this, correct?
I don't know. I've never compared the two. The reissues, the original pressing.
Right. But at a certain point, some of your tracks got scrubbed off some of the Samhain stuff, right?
Apparently all of them.
So weird.
That's fucked up.
Well, he did the Legacy of Brutality. He did the same thing with Jerry and Doyle and Mr. Jim. You know, all that.
Pete's guitar playing is what like drew me to Samhain. That and Glenn's vocals. The guitar playing is so weird and cool. It's like almost like punk, death rock, metal, and it sounded so like the production was weird and cool especially on November Come and Fire. But it's so like almost like unintentionally groundbreaking. You know, that sound. Hitting the harmonics, the like goo, 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 you know, just all that stuff. Just I was sucked in. So you know that and Glenn's vocals.
For those out there that may not know this, that a lot of that stuff was people's tracks were scrubbed and Glenn played it himself, assumingly so he wouldn't have to pay anybody any royalties or anything like that.
Exactly.
So, damn shame. Yeah, it's a damn.
I got all the OG copies.
Yeah. You know. Yeah, Joe, it's reality. I didn't know about him removing you guys from those albums. That's crazy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, those records sounded weird because they were recorded by an engineer who didn't know about rock and roll. He made dance records.
Right.
And they were produced by a guy who you couldn't tell him he was wrong.
But it worked. But I thought for some reason Glenn took responsibility for all the production and the way all that shit sounded back then. I seem to remember him talking about it a lot.
He produced it, and whether it could have sounded better.
Yeah, and I think what Dorian James is saying, Yellow Album 2, I think that's Legacy of Brutality, right? I think that's another one. I think.
Are they talking about Unholy Passion?
Unholy Passion, yeah.
Got it.
There's a bunch of different color schemes for that. I have all of them, but like
okay. I get it. I see. Right. Got it. Makes sense. Yeah.
With Al Pike on bass.
So how did so the Samhain thing comes to an end, and then you guys get to then how does Pete come into Brain Eaters, Joe?
Well, I heard he got like the grapevine was so tight back then, and especially in the city and Jersey. I mean, we were all like one big thing. So I immediately heard that Pete was out. Someone told me, don't remember who. I don't remember. Our guitar player, Chris X, he did a whole thing on his memories from all this stuff. So there's a lot in there that filled in my memory. But from my memory, I got Glenn's phone number and I called it and I got Erie somehow. Erie answered, and I gave the whole spiel, and I asked if he knew how to get in touch with Pete and if I could get Pete's number. And he wouldn't give me Pete's number, but he said he would give Pete my number. Do you remember that, Pete? And then you called me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
I was pretty depressed at that point.
Yeah, super. Yeah, that was good for me because you still wanted to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then he called me and I laid it out and then we met and he heard the stuff and he dug it and he said, I'll do it. And that was it. It was pretty easy. It's pretty seamless.
And is this the band that he joined right here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Without Rob. Rob's not in the picture. The drummer's not in the picture.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That's Chris Geiser, who ended up in another band with Pete after Brain Eaters. Rhythm, guitar, and vocals. That's me, and that's Sarah, my girlfriend at the time, who I taught how to play bass, the teenage bass vixen, as they call
her. Which I'm sure now she's a proficient bass player, probably playing with Jeff Beck, right?
No, she's like a famous advertising agent who took over her dad's company, and she's got kids, and she's rolling in dough, as far as I know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Didn't I play with Erie? No, I did not play with Erie. No. I don't know why you. No, I did not play with Erie Vaughn at any point. Nope. You got some other dude. That's some other Drew. I mean, no. I mean, we didn't. No. I mean, we opened for the Misfits We opened for the Misfits when I was in the High and the Mighty, but no, I didn't play with Erie. Hey, let me take a sponsor break, and we'll come back in a couple minutes, and we'll talk about Brain Eaters, and Pete will talk a little bit about your stint with Iggy Pop.
Sure.
And maybe like 15 minutes. We're gonna bring a special Halloween guest on, and we'll see you guys in about 10, 15 minutes. Okay.
All right.
You asked for it, you got it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. Let me find my my promos, and here you go.
Since 1992, Generation has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections of music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey guys, Vlad from Organic Grill. As you can see, we're in a new location on West 3rd Street, right by Blue Note and Comedy Central. The place is bigger, kitchen is bigger, we have more varieties, more food. Looking forward to treat you guys with great dishes. All Hardcore Chronicles, welcome to Organic Grill. We are going to see what they usually do, and we are happy to see you guys.
Peace, what it do? Welcome to NYHC Comics at 117 Main Street, Dobbs, Surrey, New York. I'm Debo the Pro with my homie
Lee Farley.
Welcome to the spot. Oh, shit. Specializing in yesterday's and today's comic books, rare CGCs, toys, collectibles.
Got skateboards, old school tapes, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer,
video games, original art pieces by your favorite New York City and worldwide artists. Let's go. Skate decks all day, baby.
We also have the young reader section here for like 10 and under. Pops. People love the Pops.
Star Wars. We are New York Hardcore. We always rep the scene. Let's get it on.
And welcome back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles live. You know, it's our special Halloween show, and we have a special guest back on the show. Our friend and yours. Let's please welcome Satan. What's happening, Satan?
Who awakens me from my slumber? True
Lord of Darkness.
Stone!
What's
How's
happening,
it going?
Satan?
Happy Halloween, Drew!
How's things down in hell?
Wonderful! We just got Jerry Lee Lewis down here. Rock and roll has never been better. What does the devil have between his legs?
What's that, Satan?
Great balls of fire!
Hey, you know, Satan, I'm going to be down in your part of town in a couple of weeks. We got to hang out.
Yes, we'll get together. I got a pitchfork for your ass.
Yeah.
Right up it. How's
What
it
else?
going? Everything good? Great show today. I'm enjoying all the stories about lots of rock and roll from one of my favorite musicians.
How about what's going on? Any new collectibles back there, Satan? Looks like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I found an old school hat from one of my favorite places in New Jersey, Frank's Chicken House.
In Manville, in in Manville, New Jersey.
Manville, New Jersey, fried chicken, the best in town.
You know, something told me. I guess I'm right. Satan's not a.
No, not at all. But I do dabble a little bit with Beyond Meat here and there.
Paulie says, I saw Satan at the Testament Exodus Death Angel show last month.
I'm everywhere. I'm all over the place.
We are everywhere.
Everywhere. All in your dreams, everything. Hey, I got a joke for you.
Sure.
What did a vampire say to the teacher?
What?
See you next period!
Good one.
I'm going to need a drink after this.
Yeah. Any Halloween plans, Satan?
Well, last year I went out on Halloween because obviously it's my holiday and I love to do a little trick-or-treating. And I killed about 40 zombies in the neighborhood. It was very strange, though. They were all walking around with little bags of candy. So, this year, I'm looking to up the count! Ah!
Chris Hoffman says, I bumped into Satan at an Albertsons a few years back. Well, Satan's got a shop as well, right?
I got to shop. I got to eat. I got to get out there with the people. I got to make sure I keep the recruiting going on. I'm working on that Kanye West. I can't wait to get him down here.
Bro, he's on the way,
He's going to be ready for an eternity of gefilte fish. I'm going to feed him over and over. I'm going to feed him. No more Hennessy, Kanye. It's straight up Manischewitz for the rest of your life.
Once you start tangling with the Jews in the media, forget it. You're done.
That's it. They're all tight together. They all talk. We all know it.
Heg says, what do vampires do with used tampons? Make tea.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
He also says, I married Satan's daughter.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Hey, what do werewolves eat for lunch?
What?
Well, not where they eat. I guess I fucked that one up. What do they wolf it down? Fuck it!
Yeah, Kane's on the way down there, bro. You don't gotta worry about
he's
that.
Fucked. Yeah, I'm watching it day by day. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have some
Anybody
fun
else?
with that motherfucker.
Right on. Well, good. Hey, listen. Any parting words? Any words of encouragement for anybody?
Yeah, make sure you go out tomorrow on Halloween. Grab some candy. Just get that free shit. Put a costume on. Bang the fucking neighborhood out again with another costume. Just keep going. Get all that candy. Get the diabetes. Come down and see me. I'm ready for you. Calm down. Thanks, Drew. Thanks for having me.
I love you, bro. I'll talk to you soon, Satan.
I'll talk to you soon, you motherfucker, you!
Woo! Satan. Ooh, man. You only bring Satan on once in a while. Satan gets crazy on the show. But there you have it. Our old friend Satan. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by blah, 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 and Grunge and Grime Soap Company. They're a handmade soap and skincare company with a rock and roll spirit based in Nashville, Tennessee. They combine their love for rock music and their love for creating products that are good for your skin and good for your soul. Since the year of our God, 2019, they've been creating high-quality, natural, handmade soaps and skincare products with ethically sourced and sustainable ingredients. They give 10% of their net proceeds to local and community outreach programs. Visit the website at www.grungeandgrimesoapcompany.com and enter the code DREW to get 20% off your first order. Hey, I want to mention to you a couple of things coming up. Let me clear the deck a little bit here. Friday, November 4th, Adrenaline OD is playing the Bowery Electric. Tickets are getting close to selling out. Make your move. There's a book signing for their new book. If it's Tuesday, this must be Walla Walla, The Wacky History of Adrenaline OD. recently put out by DeWolf Publishing. Fear Gods and ID are opening the show. Then a week later, it is Rampage Fest, brought to you by Hegs. That's right, it is always exciting. It is Rampage Fest 4, brought to you by Hegs and the New York Hardcore Chronicles, the Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series. We're doing upstairs, downstairs, two staggered stages, Concrete Burial, The End AD, Down Low, Next Scars, Fire is Murder, The Last Stand, and Death Cycle. Saturday, December 3rd at Generation Records is the Brooke Smith book signing. I will be moderating it. Come on down, ask some questions, buy a book, she will sign it. Come on now, on December 10th, New York Hardcore Comics are hosting a show in lovely Ardsley, New York, with Damn Your Eyes, ID, Fire is Murder, Leeway, and Pay Abuse, New York Hardcore Comics. Get up, get down. And then, of course, Sunday, December 18th is the big holiday slamboree brought to you by Women of and CBT, free at the Bowery Electric matinee, 1 block away from the old CBGBs. We got 2 DJs going. Frankie Too Far is upstairs. Sid the Kid is downstairs. Faded Line, Serial Poets, Concrete Ties, Voice of Doom, Daija, Spoiler NYC, and Sworn Enemy. So come on down. There's lots going on. Yes, come Rampage with us. Kevin Heggs, big show sponsor. Rampage Fest is his thing. He's the force behind it. Bring your cut-off camos, exactly. That's for you, Scott Earth. Make sure you wear your camo shorts. Yes, Heggs is bringing it hard. Yes, AOD. Yep, we'll be playing with them. Yeah, too much sugar for Satan, right? Satan gets a little crazy, man. We got it, but Satan's always good for a laugh. We love that. We love that about him. I think we're good. Let's bring our guests back on and let us continue in our journey. I'm talking about Joe Truck and Pete Marshall. Hey, man.
Yellow.
Blink.
Yellow.
Blink. So what's happening? So how does so Pete comes into Brain Eaters, and take it from there,
Yes.
Joe. What happens? And let's get to this.
We already had gigs set up, and Pete just jumped in, and obviously it wasn't rocket science music.
Excuse me. I'm assuming this is a gig from 1988. I'm assuming this is one of said gigs, right?
That's after Pete.
Oh, sorry, Pete.
That's after. That's
okay.
You mean there was life after Pete?
There was. Brain Eaters went on for a while. That's another story.
Right.
Yeah. So Pete comes in, and we just jump into CB shows, and we start playing. And the shows are really, really, really good, really well attended. And this is a weird story too. Originally, the drummer was supposed to be Ira from the Fuzz Tones. Ira's a great cat, awesome dude. But at the last minute, he just couldn't handle it. So that's when we got Rob, because it's funny. But and then it says on the thing with Ira from Fuzz Tones on the first show with Pete, and Damien from Samhain, two
I
words.
saw that. The shows were great. The shows were excellent. Really, really well attended. A lot of people at CB's. They were really good. We did a couple of shows at CB's, and we did some other shows, and it was going well, and then it just started to like go a little bit south, and then I don't really remember what exactly happened. It got a little bit weird, and then Pete, you started hanging out with Sarah, right? Remember, you started hanging out with Sarah for a little while because I broke up with her. And then,
that was a great double time there.
Right. And then,
oops.
No, that didn't end the band, but like Sarah kind of wasn't really wanting to do it. Chris was all gung ho. I was kind of fading. Pete, felt like was not into it anymore. And that era of the Brain Eaters, which was like a very fast burning flame, like just kind of ended. We played a bunch of shows and it was really good. And then the last show sucked. And we were all kind of like not in the best of moods. It was in Long Island. And it was a shitty show with a bunch of skinheads there. And it was a goth show and a bunch of skinheads showed up, which was funny.
Now,
But
in the initial run of Brain Eaters, this 7-inch, you put out this 7-inch, right?
Yes. That's what put us on the map. That was a big deal. I just said, let's just go in and record. We recorded these songs that I'd written. I taught Sarah how to play bass. Chris knew how to play guitar well enough. He played. I didn't scrub his tracks. But I played guitar. Chris played guitar. And it was good. And then it came out. And it was just kind of like the right time. It was right between Misfits and Samhain. And right around that time. So it was like a good time for it. And the people at the record stores around New York pushed it really hard. Especially, remember Ron Rimside from Venus, Pete? Remember Ron Rimside? He used to go, Brain Eaters. Brain Eaters, Joe, Brain Eaters.
Here's one for you. Here's the original. Here's the original Bleecker Bob's location.
Yep, on McDougal, where I bought Young, Loud, and Snotty when it first came out.
Right next to Capizio.
Yep, where I bought my first pair of Capizios before punk.
Yeah, me too. I bought Capizios there too.
I bought it too. So then, the record stores around town were pushing it, and it sold out. It sold out 1,000 copies. So that was great for us. That was huge. Selling 1,000 records was huge back then. Huge.
Here's a nice Bleecker Bob's.
That's the wall of Bob's. That's the wall of Bob's. Yeah.
Yeah. I got here's one for you, Pete. What guitar is that? Darren asks, what guitar is that by you, Pete?
That's that it's a Tokai Les Paul custom copy of a 54 model, all mahogany. Allegedly, there's only 4 of them made, so that's why I bought it.
Can we see it? Can you hold it up? Wow, that's nice.
That's awesome.
Says Tokai.
Oh, nice.
And a cheetah chrome strap on it.
That's rad.
Can't
so
go
I
wrong
skirted
with
it. I skirted over some shit though. I forgot some shit.
Yeah.
When Pete was in the band, we recorded this album, this EP, the No Room in Hell EP, and because PVC Records wanted to sign us, so that was the Angry Samoans were on PVC.
Yeah.
And so we did this, and then the band imploded. So I didn't really follow up on the deal. Got a new lineup afterwards, and it kind of turned a little bit more metal. And that didn't happen. But that EP somehow got around and started being tape traded, that No Room in Hell EP. And we got the Ballad of Arcane off that on this sampler called the Sorority Sampler, which is like a kind of a college radio sample. That kind of kept things alive. It kind of kept things alive. Then Pete was gone. Pete was out of the band, and I kept it going. I decided to keep it going. But the PVC deal didn't happen because the next bunch of guys were like, we're going to be on a major. Fuck PVC Records. We want to be on a major. And I was like, really? Because I don't see that happening. We should go with this. They wanted us to tour with the Angry Samoans, and they didn't want to do it, so we didn't sign it. And that record that me and Pete and Sarah and Chris recorded kind of floated around and did the rounds on like tape trading and kept alive for all these years. And it's a good representation of that time,
And that's part of what's on here.
That's part of what's on there. That's the 7-inch, the No Room in Hell EP that never came out, and
the four new songs.
And
the 4 new songs.
4 new songs that me and Pete recorded. Yeah, that me and Pete recorded. I recorded with
Tell us about
friend in LA.
Tell us. By the way, for those out there, this is a very cool package. Hold on, let me show everybody. Cleopatra, Matt Green. Very cool. It is green. Is it green splatter? Now, for some reason, when I hold it up, I don't know why this does not look green, but I'm telling you, this is green in my hands. Very strange, but this is green splatter. And great packaging, great photos. Cleopatra does a nice job on these reissues. How did the four new songs come about, and how did you record them?
I talked to Matt Green from Cleopatra, and it was the Morning Noise record coming out that made me want to do it. So I had actually approached Matt and said, "Look, the Morning Noise record's great. This is, you know about Brain Eaters. He knew all about Brain Eaters." I was like, "That's perfect. The Morning Noise record was doing really well." So I was like, "How about Brain Eaters?" He goes, "Oh, I think Brian would love that. Let me take it to him." A couple days later, he's like, "This is a great reissue." I sent him all the stuff. So I said, "What if I record 4 new songs? If I write and record 4 new songs?" Plus, I had a song that me and Pete had written from back in the day that we did. It was a great song, and it never got recorded, All Souls Day. And so I wrote and recorded 3 new songs and re-recorded All Souls Day. And then Pete got the tracks and threw his leads down on it. And that's how we did it. And
did you guys do this during the pandemic? During the pandemic?
Yes. Yep.
Any thoughts on that, Pete?
It's a record. I just think about the technical end of it. You know, logistics of luckily there's a friend of mine here in town who in Bloomfield that has he has a studio. He's a producer and he has a studio on 37th Street in Manhattan, and he had a rig at home, so I could just go over there and record. And that helps a lot.
Yeah,
because I am a technical.
Another one, huh?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, we appreciate you getting on the show today.
Sure.
Yeah. You guys ever talk about playing again? The band playing out?
We've talked about it. Yeah. We're thinking about it.
You let me know, man.
I know I told Pete it's kind of like, you know, I can get back to New York. Pete has some guys he says who would want to do it. I also have some guys who would want to do it. So I don't think getting people to do it would be hard. It's just me getting back to New York and setting up the shows. Rehearsing.
Bro, they have a thing called an airplane now. And you can get on it, you spend money, and they have a seat on it, and it flies. Bro, I've done it 3 times in the past 2 weeks.
I was just in New York for 2 days, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I know. No, I want to play some. I would like to at least play a couple of shows, especially since you were talking about Bowery Electric and then Dingbats. That would be easy too. So we could play Well,
I don't know if you noticed that AOD, Adrenaline OD, is coming to town. You know, they have a book coming out. They're playing like 2 or 3 shows. They're doing, you know, Bowery Electric and Dingbats, you know?
Yeah. That's kind of what people do at the level, you know, where we're at. And I think it would be good. I think it'd be fun. If Pete's down, I'm down. I'm leaving it in Pete's lap.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, I want go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry.
Guys that I work with, Johnny Rosado and Rob Fullen. Actually, Johnny's opening for Fear tonight.
Wait, Johnny from the Craze?
Yeah.
You work with him?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Oh, you work at SIR?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always worked at SIR. Forever.
Feels like it.
Forever. Feels like it, yeah.
And,
oh wow, I didn't realize that. So you work at that's where Johnny's opening for Fear tonight.
worked for me for 8-9 years, I think.
I like Johnny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
good
got
dude.
he's got all the good Spanish food spots down.
Yeah.
And I work on his guitars, and he pays me in lunch.
What band is which of the 30 bands he's in is opening for Fear? The Craze?
No,
Drunken Rampage.
yes.
Go figure.
What a great name for a band.
And then he and Rob have something else that they do where,
Yeah, that's a Bastard Clan.
okay,
I think. He's like in 10 bands.
yeah, but I mean, having those two, it's a no-brainer, really, because they'll be able to handle it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they can't wear Champion sweatshirts and white sneakers is all I got to say.
No, they don't. Yo,
They're going to do the law.
Johnny Cray doesn't. Johnny Cray. Johnny Cray's he's a gamer.
Yeah,
I like Johnny a lot.
covered in tattoos, also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you, Pete, about your stint playing with Iggy Pop. Could you tell us about how that came to be and any recollections you have? Because I know you played with Iggy on a couple of records, Avenue B, Beat 'Em Up, Skull Ring. Could you tell us about how the Iggy Pop thing came to be for you?
Yeah. SIR. He was rehearsing.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I would work on their the band's gear and like help out in the studio. And the Stooges were always my favorite band.
Oh, hell yeah.
Still are to this day. But one day the bass player was doing a session, because this was when he had two to three guys, Eric Schermerhorn and Hal Cragen were real serious musicians. And I guess Hal didn't show up and Eric was there, so I started playing bass because I knew all the tunes. And Iggy came in and he was just okay, and stores that away in whatever part of his mind. And I was the guitar tech 93. And then when Naughty Little Doggy came out, they did a couple of New York shows. There was like 2 nights at Coney Island High. And
I actually remember that Iggy Pop played Coney Island High.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was like the stage manager, the guitar tech, and I didn't do drums. I brought somebody on for that. But after that, then we went to LA to do a Rockford Choice show, I think, at the Palladium. And on the way back home on the plane, I think Eric Schermerhorn gave him an ultimatum about the other guitar player, Whitey Kirst. Which I never really understood.
I know Whitey.
Yeah, Eric was like, he goes or I go, and you don't threaten Jim with things like that.
Yeah,
because that just turns him. And if you try to bully him into anything, that's it. Just digs his heels in, and if you're fireable, you're fired.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Eric quit or whatever that day, and he asked, his manager, Art Collins, he was asking him, like, well, what do we do now? What are we going to get? And Art's like, well, Pete plays guitar. Why not him? And Jim was like, oh, yeah, okay. And since I think he really enjoyed having me because I didn't bitch about anything.
Right.
because I had a regular job. I was, I wasn't, fighting in the musician pool of like I'm
Right.
better than that guy and trying to keep my. That's not me. So I would work and then I go on tour, and I'd come back and go back to work, and everybody else would be like, I should be on half salary and whatever else, and
Right.
and I never complained about anything.
You were low maintenance.
Yes, and I became a lot of times I was his, like, when Art wasn't there, I was his like personal minder, where I get him in the car, get him to the show, and so I was doing double duty.
Looks like you're playing bass in this picture.
I am. I got. We made Beat 'em Up, and we had Moose Man from Body Count on bass.
Right.
Hal had finally left, and I don't know whether he wanted to save money or he just thought he didn't need two guitars anymore. Or he had talked to Whitey and told him, you got to step up and play. But he said, "Can you play bass?" I said, "Yeah, you see me play bass."
Mm-hmm.
And so I switched to bass, and we became a 4-piece.
Is that the Trolls?
Yes. Oh, this all came about me playing bass because Moose Man got killed in a drive-by.
Right. That and then for those, just to reiterate, Moose Man was in Body Count. He was the bass player in Body Count. And then he passed away in a drive-by shooting, which he was the intended target, if I remember correctly. But yeah.
Yeah, but he was always saying like, "Man, I'm not like that." So, but then it happened.
Right.
So I was like, well, it's going to sound like Lemmy. Okay.
That's a good thing.
I'm going to use a Thunderbird. Okay. And then we just went for it, and we actually had one sound guy that said we sounded like classic period Motorhead.
Nice.
Yeah. Because Whitey kind of looked like Fast Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really good period right there.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at between, from what you're saying, from when you joined, you guys recorded Avenue B, you did Beat 'em Up, you did Skull Ring. It's like about 5 years, right?
I was in the band 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's, my brother-in-law likes to say, like, yeah, that's longer than anybody in the Stooges.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And how did that come to an end? Amicable, I hope.
Yeah, it was. They did a Stooges reunion.
Yeah. Sure.
And Iggy wanted me to play bass, but the Ashton brothers wanted Mike Watt, who, in my opinion, was not the guy.
Yeah.
No.
I would have.
It was weird. That was weird.
It was
super weird.
And I don't know what the crew told Mike Watt about me, but he was terrified when I showed up. And I was at the Roseland show. I was also Iggy. I was summoned to these shows. So I was on the list, but I had to go see him, and he's like, "What do you think?" But he wanted me to play bass, and they wanted Mike Watt. And that would have been the ultimate, being in the Stooges.
Totally.
Wow. Close.
Yeah.
Close.
Yeah, I always thought that was odd. Yeah, I always thought that was odd.
Weird.
Oh, Mark says we watched the show together at Roseland.
Yeah, we did. He
Yeah.
heard my voice, I think, and came over. And Harris was there too.
Harris.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Iggy's a survivor, man. It's amazing that I see he pops up in all these documentaries now as like the elder statesman. It's like it's it's really instant cred. Instant cred. Go talk to Iggy.
Yeah.
Or Thurston Moore. Every doc has Thurston and Iggy. Thurston Moore's in every documentary. It could be a documentary on spark plugs. All of a sudden, Thurston Moore's going, "I had a spark plug once," and
I'm doing a new film. Maybe I should go talk to the both of them.
You should, because if you don't have a documentary without Thurston and Iggy.
Funny. Cool. All right, that makes sense. Let me take my last sponsor break, a real quick one. We'll come back and let's take some questions from around the world. Okay.
Far out.
There you have it. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, often imitated, never duplicated. We are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and 126 Hardcore Clothing. It's a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise, like yourself, my friend. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, with several printing methods and materials, and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspective. She's fresh, while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them. Ramp up your weak-ass clothing game at www.126clothing.com. Come on now. DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more. Located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district, shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal. Last but not least, in this episode of the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, Halloween, the Texas Silver Rush. It's a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres that design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rowley, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Just a reminder, this show is always in need of your support. Please join us on Patreon. There it is, Patreon through Stone. Please come get down. We need you. We need your support. And thank you to the latest patron, Joe Soldezo, also Scott Vigor and Hendrik Feller. Thank you for supporting your show. Your show. It's not my show. It's your show. Oh, you like the costume? Brett the Bookie checking in. Yeah. What's happening, Brett? How's things out there in the sports world? Happy Halloween, Lee Smith. Thank you, buddy. You like it? It's my Drew Stone costume. So yeah, please support us on Patreon. There's also a PayPal address there. PayPal Stone forward AOL. So there's a super chat feature. Post up your questions, please. If you have any questions for Pete Marshall or Joe Truck regarding Brain Eaters or Samhain or Iggy Pop or what have you, please post them up now, and we will get them where they need to go. So that said, like I said, questions are welcome. Let's bring back on. My building's burning. Doing the show with the window open today. Let's bring back on Joe Truck. Pete, hold on. What am I doing? The Upper West Side's burning. Yo, I live in a building, like a pre-war building, there could be a nuclear holocaust and like nothing would happen here. It's like
Yeah.
the walls. It's like, the walls are thicker in my building than in fucking Hitler's bunker, man. That said, Joe Ackerman says, enjoying listening to the show while gardening today. Hardcore gardening, of course. Seriously, though, great show. Well, thank you. RS70 always asks, were you guys ever into skateboarding, BMX, or graffiti?
Yep. I was.
I was heavily into skating.
Is that right? In Jersey?
Yeah. From about 76. And I even remember being on tour with Samhain, and we would go to skate parks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had
that's about the last thing I would think the guys in Samhain were doing would be going to the skate park.
Well, it was me. And,
it was me.
And the big boys in Texas, they all skated.
Yeah.
The Necros.
Yeah, right.
I was big in the graffiti scene. I used to
in New York?
I used to write, and go bomb the yards. And I hung out with a lot of those big guys like Don D and Lee and all those guys, the Fabulous Five. I was in a bunch of crews.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
BYB, the mob. I was in the mob, BYB. I was in a bunch. The Masters of Broadway.
Legends.
Yeah, I used to bomb.
Where's
and same time Pete was saying, like, start 75 to like 77. I was doing a bunch of graffiti before it got a little dangerous near the end.
Speaking of New York City graffiti legend Dondi, bam.
There it is.
Hell yeah. Yep.
He passed away, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's take another one. From Darren, hey Pete, did you ever tour the UK when you were with Iggy Pop?
Yes. Every time we started, we usually had a home base in London, and he was at some fancy hotel, and we stayed at this place called Pembridge Gardens, which was like 2 row houses put together in a small hotel. And that was great. It was right by Portobello Market. And we just go all over the country and do festivals and go up to Scotland.
And that would be your home. That would be the home base.
Yeah, I really miss that place. It was great. It had there was an unadvertised bar with a bartender in the basement. And
whoa, that's
cool. Is that right on Hyde Park?
No, that's where Iggy was, but we were up Bayswater a bit. And it was Pembridge Gardens, I think the name of the street. But yeah, it was like somebody's basement with a bar in it. They paid a bartender. And as far as I know, I was the only guy that went down there.
That's great.
I would have been with you.
Yeah, the Hammersmith Odeon. And I brought the party back there. We had Gary Newman.
Oh,
nice. Wow. Love Gary Newman.
And he didn't seem to realize that he had actually, one of my ex-girlfriends had moved to England to live with him.
Okay.
So
that's
what a tangled web we weave.
Oh yeah. And they had these great ham and cheese sandwiches that the bartender made. So and everybody wanted one. So he had me 10 bar while he was in the kitchen.
That's great.
But yeah, the touring, the level was, you're paid well, you stayed in great places.
And also, you said playing some of those European festivals with Iggy must have been a blast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. People thinking you're important.
Yeah. Giving you lots of beer and cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. I have a question about Pete. What guitar? What kind of guitar is this in this picture? What is this? Hold on, it'll pop up. Better pop up. What is that?
That is a Japanese replica of double cut Les Paul Jr. made by ESP. The brand is called Edwards, and that thing rivals my real 59 Junior for playability. Wow. And that's basically all I do now is buy Japanese replica Les Pauls.
Huh.
They're great.
Yeah. There's nothing on the headstock, right?
No, there is now.
Oh.
I think I sent you another picture of me playing that guitar down in Asbury.
Who are you playing with here?
Frankenstein 3000. It's a group that it's Keith Roth. If you know, he's a DJ on Sirius FM. And he's also, I mean, he's like a Monmouth County guy, and you know everybody knows him.
He knows everybody. I listen to his show. I listen to his show all the time. He's on Hair Nation, and he knows everybody we know. He's played with or knows everybody we know. He's a cool cat.
Yeah, Gary says someone mentioned those guitars on a previous show. I think their reliability.
Yeah. For like a third of the price. Well, they've gone up, but you can get that. But a new custom shop Les Paul Jr. is gonna be probably around $3,000.
Yeah.
Oof.
I bought my 59 I traded Mark Andrews the Deuce, my 76 Thunderbird.
Oof.
And I got the guitar and $200 cash. And then somebody in Joe's band ended up with that.
Oh, was it the one that Joey Angel was playing? The red one?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a dope. That T-Bird was rad.
Yeah, and I think it was red by then.
It was red by then and had dice knobs.
Yeah.
Joey loved that bass, but it went to somebody else. We don't know where it is now. He didn't keep it. He sold it.
Here's one for you, Joe. Did the Brain Eaters ever play with the Dead Kennedys? I would think not, right?
No. Played with 7 Seconds. Played with a lot of bands, but not the Dead Kennedys.
Right. Awesome. Please come and play in Asbury Park, New Jersey. The hotbed of activity in Jersey these days. Play Asbury Park. Yeah.
It's really, it's like people go to shows in Monmouth County for some reason.
That's good.
I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around the whole concept. But there's some of the other guys I played with from there, like Scott Burton, who has a band called the Moroccan Sheep Herders, and they do like they're a cover band, and they do like 1,000 people a show.
Awesome.
I have a friend that plays in, like, I think it's like the top-notch Eagles cover band, and they play in front of thousands and
they make a fortune. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. My old drummer was in Slack Babbitt, which was the big Black Sabbath band in LA.
Right.
Used to make five G's a gig. 5 G's. That was their guarantee always. I'd like to make 5,000 a gig.
Who was that? Criffo?
No, it was Scotty Slam. No, Criffo. I don't know if Criffo played in any cover bands. He had that Speed McQueen thing. That was really
Yeah,
good.
I remember that. I remember Speed McQueen. Yeah.
We talk a lot. We still talk a lot. Me and Joey, and his brother too. I still talk to all those guys.
Here's the craziest thing you guys have seen at a show. I know that's a pretty come to mind. I mean, you fucking played with Iggy Pop, man.
Besides all
Craziest
the GG
thing
Allen shows.
I forget where.
Yeah. Hey, Pete, when you played with Iggy, would people like throw peanut butter on stage and shit?
No, but they would. We opened in Nottingham once. We opened for Green Day, and they were pissing in water and throwing them at us. So I would take the bottles with my feet while I was playing bass, aim the front end of it out at the audience, and kick it back, and the people up front were just, they were caught. They couldn't get away from it.
Oh God.
But the craziest thing I ever saw with him, I forget where it was, and it was someplace in the UK that some chick got on stage. Some girl got on stage during The Passenger when he invites people up.
Yeah.
She took off all her clothes.
Whew.
And it's on film somewhere too. But you'd think that they would like attract a million guys, but they were running away from her. And then she tripped over a monitor backwards and knocked herself out.
Oh God.
That's
anything
probably
come to mind, Joe?
Oh, all the GG Allen shows that I went to, millions of them. Almost every one of them. They got worse and worse.
Where he would chase people around and throw duty at them and stuff.
Yeah, and we were always us smart people who knew Kevin. We would like hang out around the side of something because we knew as soon as the college students got to the front, he was going to shit and start throwing shit all over him. And then if they tried to stop him, they were going to get like attacked by him. So we would just laugh and watch from far away. And, that was always fun. Always fun. Naked people getting naked and running up covered in shit. That was good. Pretty crazy.
I know the last thing I want to do when I get on stage is shit.
Yeah, me too. I got a good shit story. I saw the Necros.
I'm not trying to. Go ahead.
The Necros at CB's, Barry Hensler shit himself on stage, which is kind of good. It came out his pant leg. It was fucking hysterical.
Oh.
I think he should have just, but nobody wanted to go shit in the bathrooms at CB. So I understand why I'd rather shit on stage than in those bathrooms.
Listen, whenever we have a show, my whole pregame ritual basically revolves around excreting solid waste particles before I have to get on stage.
Me too, but that's our age. I piss before I do anything that I know I'm going to be doing something for more than an hour. I piss first. I always piss. It's called getting old.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, good. All right. Well, hey, out there, listen, this is the new Brain Eaters re-release. You could purchase it now. It is on the website for, there it is. Cleopatra Records put it out. It's a great package stuff. Take my word for it. It is green splatter vinyl. Although for some reason, which I cannot explain, everything else is true to color except
that.
This, actually, I have the only gray one in existence. If anybody wants it,
right? Exactly.
$1,000.
He's got the gray. We got to get the gray. It's going to be on Discogs, but it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Gray splatter.
People with that.
Yeah, I got to give one shout out, Drew, because
well, you want to go ahead first. Go ahead, Joe. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah. I want to thank everybody in general, but just wanted to shout out a band that I have with John Sharkey called Dowager, which is an awesome doom band. You guys should check it out. That's my shout out musically. But everybody, thanks for buying the record, and we're going to try to play live. So we'll get it going. If you guys want to see us, we'll do it.
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I that's one of my superpowers,
We've talked about it.
I don't I don't
Yep.
want to mention any names, but like, I have this I can get bands back together,
Awesome.
like I don't want it. Like I was thinking about the Clash, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go there, or Minor Threat, but I go for the low hanging fruit,
Yeah.
like Biohazard and Brain Eaters,
All bands that start with B.
Yeah, right. Joe Frank says, thanks for coming on, fellas. This was awesome.
Thanks,
Pete,
Joe.
anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
Well, I haven't actually talked to Johnny about playing drums, but I think he'll do it.
All right, cool.
I'll put in a
If
word.
he won't, we've got a lot of drummers in New York that me and you know, Pete. I'm sure we could find somebody.
We'll get John Steele.
Oh, that would be fucking good.
It would.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry Kelly. It was a good show.
Thanks, Larry Kelly.
Hey, keep in touch, you guys. You're welcome back anytime. I'll speak to you later, Pete. I'll speak to you later, Joe.
Okay.
Peace. Thanks, Drew. Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Drew.
Pat.
See you, Pete. I'll talk to you soon, Pete.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Great show. Pete Marshall and Joe Truck from Brain Eaters. We talked a little Iggy Pop. We talked a little Samhain. There's a lot we didn't talk about. We didn't get to talk to Joe Truck about Circus of Power. He was in Circus of Power for a while. Thanks, Paulie. It's a cool show. Cool show. It's the first time we've ever talked about Iggy Pop on the show. So, that's pretty cool. You know what I didn't mention? I didn't mention the next shows that are coming up on this show. Is it a week? No, it's Wednesday. This Wednesday, November 2nd, is the Anthrax Club Retrospective. That's coming up this Wednesday. We're going to do a deep dive into the legendary Anthrax Club in Connecticut with Jim Martin, Jeff Coleman, and John Bomber, a.k.a. Sex Bomb. Should be interesting. I'm excited about this one because I don't know soup to nuts the history of the Anthrax Club. I'm like a New York kid. I didn't get out of Manhattan much. I went to CBGB's in A7. I wasn't coming up to Connecticut for a show, So that should be pretty cool. A week from today is Tom Lyle from Government Issue, our old friend, will be on. Wednesday, November 16th, Gary Bennett from Kill Your Idol, Sheer Terror and Death Cycle. And then, of course, Sunday, November 20th, another of our old friends from SSD Control, Chris Lee. Sunday, November 27th, Brooke Smith will be on the show talking about her new book, Matinee. And then, of course, Wednesday, November 30th, R.B. Corbett will be on Even Worse, Butch Tetras and Effective People. Just announced this show the other day, John Monty from MOD Ministry, Mindfunk, Dragpipe, The Spiders, and Chemical Waste will be on the show. Thank you. It was a great show. We do great shows. A Sex Pistols show would be cool. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we did have a Sex Pistol on the show, right? We had, what's his name? The bass player, not Sid Vicious, the guy who actually played on the record. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Who's the bass player of the Sex Pistols? I can't remember his name. The guy who actually played played. Paul Stone, there he is. Thanks. Glenn Matlock. Thank you. We had Glenn Matlock on the show. Oh, yeah. Hey, Little Freeman, what's up, bro? It's Halloween. Where are you getting into trouble? I'll be down at the Halloween parade tomorrow. I'm actually helping Paris Mayhew do his new music video. Me and Paris are doing some work again together, so that's really cool after all these years. So that's it. Have a good Halloween, everybody. Don't do anything bad. Be good. I'm begging you. Be good. Do good things. Will you? Do good things. You know what will happen if you do good things, right? He was on already. Satan was on. We had Satan on. It's my magic power. I bring people together. That's right. You know? Who should I get together? Anybody? You know what? Let's take a couple minutes. Suggestions on I don't like to use my superpowers a lot, but once in a while I'll break them out and we'll pull someone together. So, any suggestions? Who do we want to see get together? We just did Biohazard. It looks like we just did Brain Eaters. Who do we want to see get back together? Cheers, Zach. Get the High and the Mighty back together. We just played, bro. The High and the Mighty just played. We just did a show. I know you weren't a part of it. You know, get King Diamond on. Yeah, John Brandon. I was talking to. We'll get John Brandon on. Are we talking about who we want on the show, or what band we want back together? Hey, Marla, how are you? Creedconf. Creedconf just played a couple shows, didn't they? Jason and Creedconf. Blood for Blood. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to go there with Blood for Blood. You know? The Mentors. Didn't the dude from the Mentors die? Underdog. They don't need my help. They get back together every now and then. Yo, any interaction I've had with King Diamond has always been great. That's, you know... Let me see. Where's my great King Diamond? Yeah. Here's my great. Where's my great King Diamond shot? Hold on. Here it is. Listen. Here's me and King Diamond back in the day. Boom. Me and King. Yeah. Mucky Pup. Funny you should say that. Yeah. I get, you know what? Mucky Pup's a maybe. It's time to get Gary Holt back on the show. We had Gary Holt on very early on. You know? Anytime you see King Diamond, you have to take this picture. Here's a shot when I was out tour managing for Biohazard like 20 years ago. Me, Evan Seinfeld, King, and Rob Echeverria when he was playing in Biohazard. And King. That's the picture you have to take with King Diamond. You know, that's like the mandatory picture. Teen Idols, good one. Good one. Hey, Ian, I know you're not going to get mine and Drep back together, but let's do Teen Idols. Okay. Gorilla Biscuits, what are you talking about? I just saw Gorilla Biscuits is playing. They're playing out west. Gorilla Biscuits don't need me to pull them together. I know Mucky Pup's a good one. I think there's some resentment there. I got resentment. Fucking resentment, you know? No redeeming social value. We just played with them a couple weeks ago. Verbal assault. All right. Cro-Mags. Wait a second. Aren't the Cro-Mags together? Wait, I'm confused. Tuned in, just found out DH Peligro passed. Yeah. Rest in peace, DH. Rest in peace, Jerry Lee Lewis. You know, the Freeze. You know, I was talking to Cliff Hanger from the Freeze about coming on the show, but he's another guy that doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, you know? Is that a band, Sarcasm? Or is that, you know? You know what? You're right. You're right, Gary. Don't sell yourself short. Get Slayer back on the road. It's a good one. I see what you're doing here, and I like it. Yeah. SSD control. Yeah, I got that, bro. That's no problem. That's no problem. We could do SSD control anytime. You know? Funny you should say that about 315 Bowery. It's out there. Yep. Why? Did you hear a rumor? Did you hear that? That I'm getting involved with taking over the old CBGB space? Somebody asked me that the other day. I can't talk about that. Led Zepp. You know, let's leave Led Zepp alone. You know, the Mighty COs, good one. Gangrene just played the other night, right? I think Gangrene played the other night at the Middle East. Yep. What is this? Violent Times. Get John Morton, Electric Eels, and/or Craig Bell mirrors Rocket from the Tomb Saucers on the show. Craig would definitely do it. Okay. I'm not real familiar with these guys, but listen, I love doing shows with people I don't know. Seriously. At this stage of the game, 220 shows into it, I really enjoy having people on that, like, I really don't know. It's really interesting to me, other than talking about the same old scata with my old hardcore friends, you know? Venom. 25 to life. Is that right? FU's, I saw, I think Gangrene, something about Gangrene. I don't know. I saw it on the Gangrene Instagram page or something. Taking over the old, yes, that would be great. Listen, I'm not at liberty to talk about that right now. Just like I wasn't at liberty to talk about the biohazard thing. Pete's not on the show. He's gone, bro. Pete was a great guest, and no, we didn't talk about Carnival of Shame. Is that right? Chris is back with Gangrene. I know he had a stroke a couple years ago. For the guitar players out there, once you have a stroke, man, oof, it's tough. Yeah, Fear tonight at the Brooklyn Monarch. I think I'm going to stay home. I don't think I'm going anywhere. Billy Joel and Liberty DeVito. It's a good one, Ray Hogan. Rat. Now we're talking. You took the midnight subway train. You know, you ever see I did a video with Stephen Piercy back in the day. Stephen Piercy had like a side project with this dude from Japan called Vortex. And I did a video with him back in the day. Here's me and Stephen Piercy from Rat. I'm rocking the old Mr. Softy shirt. Yeah. Is that right? No. Don Letts directed the Rat video Round and Round? No. I find that hard to believe. Don Letts? I missed that Don Letts thing in town that just happened, man. I need to talk to Don Letts. Yeah, Venom Inc. Yeah, they got the Venom Inc. thing. You know? Yes, I saw Sabaton, who just sing about... Sabaton was weird. They're like Swedish or something, and they have this whole intro tape talking about Americans in World War I, and all their song, and they're like singing about like American doughboys in World War I. Like every song's like a history lesson, you know? War metal. Yeah, I never knew such things existed. Fucking war metal. Yeah, anybody from Killing Joke is always welcome on this show. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I think you're right. I saw it. I read Gangrene supported Fear with Chris Daugherty last night. Yeah. Is that right? Boy, talk about like like bucket list for this show. Don Letts. I'd love to have Don Letts on this show. Love to have Don. I'd love to talk to Don Letts. You want to see a Don Letts picture that I have? I know the London photos that I have from 1977. And here's a couple of Don Letts shots. These are fucking mint, man. This book is starting to come together, by the way. So here's a. You want to talk about a winning shot? Get a load of this. This is as part of the. I have 3,500 negatives that were gifted to me from 1977. Wow, look at that. Come on now, Don Letts, 1977. Right? Come on now. You want another one? Stick this in your pipe and smoke it. Here's Don Letts and his crew. And these have never before been seen. In 1977. The dude on the right is, I believe, Leo Easy Kill Williams, who was the bass player in Big Audio Dynamite years later. So how about that, man? Good. I got 1,000 of these negatives. Paul Simonon would be great. How about Mick Jones? Mick Jones is on my bucket list. Mick Jones on the show. Paul Simonon, cool. Mick Jones, that's the man. Billy Milano's not coming on the show. So let's not get into Billy Milano. Bad Brains aren't coming on the show either. They're not interested. They don't want to do it. Get Billy Joel, sure. Good one. Billy Joel. Jesus. All right. We came, we conquered. Thanks a lot, everybody. It was good seeing you again. We'll see you on Wednesday for the Anthrax reunion show, or whatever you want to call it. Thank you. Have a happy Halloween, everybody. Until next time, do good things, and good things will come to you.
What have we become? United in